can't stand it any longer.
You broke it.
Oh no.
Oh no.
This tape is
oh no.
This tape is like...
Look what you've done.
Dust.
Oh, dude. Just coming down here to do a little bit of work on the car. We've got the tank out and the rear subframe out recently, and now it's time to start pulling out the front end of the fuel system so we can get the fuel rail, fuel injectors, fuel pressure regulator, and when our kit arrives from Radium, we're going to be putting in the fuel hangers and pumps into the tank. I've done a little bit to the tank, cleaned it up nice and clean, and put in some Raceworks lines just for E85 capabilities, so we don't have any issues into the future. Plastic tanks, they're pretty awesome. They clean up really nice once you've given them a good clean, so I'm pretty happy how they've turned out. Now we've got the car up on the hoist. It's time to start pulling out the cold side. So we'll start with dumping the coolant and then go from there. I don't know, pretty productive night last night on the tools. Got a whole bunch of the rest of the cold side out, the throttle bodies, etc. Some of the wiring looms, the alternator. And then on the hot side, the intercooler pipes and the intake pipes, which are all going to need replacing. So, been a pretty productive night. For the intake plenum here, these lugs here that normally mount on all of the factory throttle cable bracketry, we're going to take them off, linish them down to being smooth, and then the intake plenum is going to get a full wrinkle coat as well. So it should look pretty sweet later on today. Okay, quick update. There's been a few things going on with the car. Took the subframe down to Boxer's place and we used the world-class welders there. Boxer welded up the rear subframe lower control arm mounts from GK Tech, so we can put in some anti-squat so the car will squat and get traction, which is awesome. That looks great. Since then, I've got into it and I've just painted up the subframe, so it's had a Raptor underbody coating and then gloss black over the top of the Raptor in order to make it all look brand new and sexy. So new GK Tech mounts there and genuine body engineering subframe strengthening and rear mounts, which I made years ago in order to help me on the track. So that's looking pretty sweet. Since then I've also been here in the engine bay, got some of the intake off. Power steering pump is out of alignment, so if you have a look down here, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the pulley doesn't really line up with the harmonic balancer, which is really painful. Really big factory bracket in here. I'm sure I could shim it and carry on and then try and make it work, but as you can see, the lines here for the power steering fluid going up to the reservoir are pretty so I've gone ahead and got a kit from Frenchie's Performance Garage to put a D40 Navara power steering single stage pump in, and a bunch of AN fittings and braided line to basically give it a big refresh. spent the afternoon today prepping the inlet plenum, the vacuum manifold, and the numbers 1 and 2 throttle body for tapping, and then putting in some plugs ranging from a 16th MPT up to a 3/8 NPT plug. So we're just tapping them away. I've also got a vacuum manifold that I've got. So removing all of the vacuum sources basically until you have the two what are close to 3/8-8 lines coming out of the bottom of the vacuum manifold. The old factory ones used to come out, but now they've both been drilled out to 14.5 mil in readiness to put an M16 tap and a -6 fitting on. For those familiar, the vacuum line in the end here has been drilled out. That's a 6 or just over 6 mil, and the vacuum line in the front that usually goes to fuel pressure regulator, same, just over 6 mil, in order to be able to put a 16th MPT tap in it, like I said, and then put a plug in place. Here's the throttle body. So on the number 1 and 2, if you're familiar, you'll know that there's a hole with a little barb that sticks out of there for a 5 or 6 mil vacuum line. That's now been drilled as well to 6 and a bit mil, and that'll be accepting another 16th MPT plug on it. As a part of the drive-by-wire setup, we're going to be turning that throttle body around anyway, so it'll all be hidden, but it'll be neat, it'll be plugged properly and not have any issues. For the plenum, you can see here I've got the vacuum manifold dummied up as to where it's going to sit. Neatly it mounts off one of the original mounting points for some of the stuff that goes under the manifold to do with the idle air control, etc. We've drilled out these 3 different barb fittings that are normally on the manifold. So the 2 right hand ones are normally a 3/8 line. They've been drilled to 14.5 mil in readiness for a 3/8 MPT tap and plug, and the rear one's now been drilled out to 8.5 mil in readiness for an 8th NPT plug. So they'll be all plugged up and neat. For the vacuum manifold, I'm going to use one of the original AAC mounting points here that's just sitting just above it, and make a little aluminium bracket that fits in between the mounting point down the bottom here and that hole there, and it'll all sit neatly with a whole bunch of 5 and 6 mil barbs. And this dash fitting will actually be on the other end, and we'll run a -6 line into it from one of the vacuum manifold plenum orbs fittings. So without further ado, let's get back into it. So we've got the bracket made. It's mounting the vacuum manifold on there quite nicely, I think. You can see that it sits flush with the surface mount. And if you look at it from this kind of an angle, I think it looks really good. And that'll take care of all of my vacuum needs. You see, there's all this stuff hanging under the car. I don't know where it goes. This one's red. I guess I'll find another red one for it to be friends with. This one spins. Maybe I'll take it for a spin. Wonder what it does. Oh, this one looks like a bowl. Maybe I'll make my breakfast in there. Yum yum. This one's missing all the go juice. I guess that's where you put the batteries. Oh, cool. I like it. Really, really fun. Hoist hack, clamp, light, win.
Next time on HoonTV, we use a drill to do electrical work. Barty rubs and draws on a shaft. And the RB26 gets topless. Show us your cams. I can't believe I don't get paid for doing this. HoonTV, bloody legends, get them a pint.